What's up, guys? This is Off the Bench. Of course, I'm your co-host, Kelsey, or excuse me, I'm your host, not co-host.
Wow, did I get a promotion?
You almost did there. I'm your host, Kelsey Huffine here. Sitting to my left is co-host Richie, and across from me, of course, from the camera, is Pops, of course, over there. We're still waiting a little bit on the radio side. We're having some technical difficulties over there, but hopefully we're going to get it set up here just shortly so we can also get that integrated, which messes up my flow of things a little bit, but we're going to have to roll with it. But we do have a something that I want to go over here, and we'll probably get to it in the next 15 to 20 minutes, barring any more technical side issues. But we do have a great slate of college football today. Of course, LSU, Alabama in Tuscaloosa, one of those prized games that we always wait for each year. And of course, other games around the country: Auburn, Vanderbilt, Oregon, Iowa, Texas A&M, Missouri, BYU, Texas Tech, Georgia, and Mississippi State. So there's an abundance of games around the country. We're going to be talking playoff derivatives. You know, these are play-out games essentially, as well as games that, you know, you're going to need down the stretch of the season to get into the playoff. But specifically, the amount of news that's going around the country, and we talked about this, of course, on our midweek update show. So a few freezes out at Auburn, which makes it seem like, and Richie, you said you had some inside information about local fans here.
I got local fans here who have reached out to me to let me know they are also on my bandwagon to bring in the greatest coach in the history of college football, Deion Sanders, to the plains of Opelika, Alabama, and that let that just, you know, bring that energy to Auburn.
Well, it will not happen. Deion's not coming to Auburn, essentially, but he'll go to Florida State before he go to Auburn.
I agree with that. True story on that.
They lose Norvell if Norvell is out of Florida State, which is likely to happen. A lot of people think it may happen, barring any, you know, it's buyout money is what.
Man, you got that big Florida State Clemson game today. Another game we've been robbed of that would be an amazing football game.
There's a lot of good games. We didn't fit them all into the pick'ems this week, but there's a lot of good games this week. I think I even have a honorable mentions graphic for our pick'ems this week that rolled through other games as well. And, you know, loading is always.
I mean, you had Indiana, Penn State should have been a great game.
You still had Navy and Notre Dame, Wake Forest, and Virginia. There's some highly intensified games in the action that's going on today. And then we're going to bring you all the way up to that 11 o'clock kickoff. Of course, we'll bring you all the way up until that. So stick with us. We know there's other options on, but YouTube has prevented you from watching.
Yes.
So
YouTube TV.
YouTube TV has prevented you from watching that. And as I think about that now, I'm pretty sure, you know, we have it on in the background right now.
Yeah.
You get your free College Game Day right there.
Well, actually, they're because of all this and the back and forth between, everybody wants to say ESPN. It's really ABC who own, or it's Disney who owns ABC and ESPN and everything. I unfortunately know way more about this than I should because of my ties to the Disney Corporation. But it's getting a little messy. I mean, even Pat McAfee said something about it on his program about nobody cares about call them and let them know you want to keep your programming. Nobody's going to pick up the phone and call YouTube, Google, Alphabet, whatever it's, their parent company is, and go, hey, Richie here in Huntsville, Alabama really wants you to keep your ESPN on. And they're like, oh, sorry, we didn't know that you wanted that. So, I mean, it's stupid, but you've got over 10 million YouTube TV subscribers at roughly somewhere between $15 to $20 a month of your bill goes to the Disney Corporation, between ABC, all the ESPNs, the Disney Channel itself, all the other channels that they now own and everything, Fox and FS, the other channels that they bought and then spun off and everything. So you're talking about the Disney Corporation losing $150 million a month by not having that on.
So, but how do you incorporate the push for, we're going to get into some hard news on everything today here, guys. But how does that get into the push of, ESPN is also trying to push their mobile app as well now on no new features and stuff like that. How is that being incorporated to this deal? Like, how does that change everything around this deal as well?
So it's a great question. If you actually go back and look at the last time ABC or the Disney Corporation was negotiating one of these contracts, it was with Spectrum and Comcast. And what they ended up doing, specifically with Spectrum, is they went from like 18 channels to I think it was 10 or 12. They dropped some of their so Disney can say, hey, we're giving you all 18 channels. These 12 have to be on your minimum package. And then you can figure out where the rest of them go. Well, Spectrum and everything, the back and forth, Disney agreed to drop that minimum number on the minimum package. But Spectrum also came back and said, all of our customers get Disney Plus and Hulu. So Disney was fine with that because that now looks like you now have a subscription to Disney Plus. You're not paying for it because you're paying for your cable, but Disney can say, hey, look at all these new subscribers we have to Disney Plus, which is great. But if you're not, I can say, hey, I sold the most cinnamon rolls, but if all I did was give them away, how many did I really sell? So with all that being said, what you're getting into, so there's this huge train wreck that is possibly coming. Now they could miss each other, but between all this gambling controversy that's going on, ESPN is 1/3 of the Disney Corporation. They put a ton of money behind Disney bets or ESPN bets. They've killed their agreement with Penn Sports, which was a multi-billion-dollar, push to try to help with the gambling side of it. So you're talking about the primary way the vast majority of us watch sports, which is ESPN. Start off with game day. They have all the SEC games. I mean, they're going to have SEC games from 11 a.m. till the time for me to curl up on the couch, tonight. And with all of that, you've got a situation where if Disney goes down and loses a lot of this, you're talking about the way we watch sports could be drastically changed very quickly.
With how this is kind of shaped up and how everything is driven by YouTube TV because of how much market they currently own with how many people are actually subscribed to them compared to the other people, compared to the other companies within the sports realm.
Correct. I mean, you talk about your big sports fans all have YouTube TV because of the Red Zone channel on Sundays. So if you're a big football guy or girl, if you're a big football, you've got YouTube TV because you want to have Sunday ticket, which means you're going to watch ESPN on Saturdays. You're going to watch college football. So you're talking some big money in what could really change the outcome of going forward. Major League Baseball is going to go more towards their app. If you want to watch the Braves, I think within the next couple of years, they're going to set their system up where you go to atlantabraves.com and you sign up for $100 a year and you get every Atlanta Braves game. If you live in Alabama and you're a Mets fan, you go to NewYorkMets.com, you pay $100 and you get every Mets game. Now you're not going to get to see the Colorado Rockies play the Angels, but you don't care because you paid $100 and you got all of your games. So I think that's going to be the next coming, which is going to put another hurt on some of these broadcast channels.
Yeah, understand it here. Lincoln Riley has addressed the rumors of him splitting off of USC. I know this has been talked about the last week, simply with Colin Cowherd and Josh Pate. I think
yes.
are the two main ones feeding into this. But it seems like as of right now, Lincoln Riley is putting those rumors to rest. He said he pretty much sacrificed his Oklahoma tenure to come to USC, which he inevitably did. He kind of strained those relationships when he immediately jumped ship to USC when that happened. So USC sticking with Lincoln Riley sticking with USC at least to the end of this year. I don't see that actually happening. Kenny Dillingham, a lot of stuff is addressed about his future over at Arizona State on if he will be the coach there in 2026. It seems like he's going to be a hot name for a lot of these jobs that are open right now. Presumably, both Auburn, I think, is the hottest for him, and Florida on the other side. I think they've both kind of been really trying to push after Dillingham, but we'll see how this flows through. There's still a lot of names on these lists, and nothing has been narrowed down to this point at all. I mean,
and there's never been a coach in the history of college football say that they weren't leaving a program and then leave that program. I mean, that's never happened before.
Not at all. No,
I mean,
it's never happened at all.
These coaches are completely honest with everything that they do every time.
Yeah.
It's just,
Nick Saban, of course, not too long ago, there was a guy down in Miami, Florida that said he would never coach an Alabama football game in his life. And I think a couple days later,
I think it was 72 hours later, he was on the tarmac in Tuscaloosa.
He also said he wouldn't leave Michigan State. That's why to this day they call him Nick Satan.
Yeah, yes, Michigan State doesn't.
Well, you can thank Miss Terry for that one.
Yeah,
Miss Terry kind of initiated that. Miss Terry was the secret person that went down to Baton Rouge.
Yep,
and scoped it out for the facilities and what's going on down there. And she came back and said, "It sucks, Nick. We need to go."
Yeah. Well, I think we've learned if we've learned anything from the Nick Saban era at Alabama and then the post Nick Saban era at Alabama, every great man has an even better woman behind him, because she has really been the one that the jokes were don't let her see how much money's on the the check and everything, and it's really, if she says, hey honey, I love you, I'd like for you to go back to coaching, he'll be coaching next year. But
well, yes, okay, especially with $25 million per year that has been estimated for a contract for Nick Saban. In fact, a lot of people have thrown out the numbers with LSU. It'd be a 3 to 4 year deal.
Yeah,
$25 million. Not to even address the stipulations that would be put in the contract for if he were to get to the college football playoff, if he were to make the national championship, win the national championship, win an SEC championship. There's another 5, 10, 15, $20 million.
Oh, yeah.
That can be added on to the end of it with how contracts work now and how much incentives are put into those contracts. So there's no telling how much money that Saban would actually be offered to go coach the LSU Tigers.
And you'd be a fool if you were in the state of Louisiana right now and you have his cell phone number or his agent's cell phone number or Miss Terry's cell phone number or his daughter's cell phone number, and you don't at least reach out, send a text, send an email that says, hey, 4 years, 100 mil plus bonuses. What day do you want to have your press conference? Like, and just leave it at that. And if he leaves you on red, then, you shot your shot. I mean, that's like if Sydney Sweeney was to walk through that door and you don't at least say hi, can I take you to dinner? You got to at least throw it out there and see if he jumps on it or not.
All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break real quick right now. I think we have issues fixed on the radio side. I know Pop's working behind the camera there trying to get all that fixed out for the YouTube side as well. Big thanks to him over there. But we're going to take a break real quick on YouTube. We're going to get the radio side incorporated to the show as well. So we're going to be right back, guys. This is Off the Bench. Stick with us. We'll be back. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We are back on the radio side. Had a couple technical difficulties this morning, but we are ready to go full strength. We're live on YouTube, of course, iHeartRadio, and now we're on the radio as well. Now 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. We are out of Jockstober officially in November.
We are
Jocksvember.
Jock something.
Jocksvember. That's what we're going with.
November to remember.
I think it will be the November to remember in college football, as we are just completely rumbling down this line and seeing how the college football playoff is shaking up. But a couple of things that I did want to get to this morning that I wanted to get to in the first segment, but we're finally on radio side, so we do have it here now. There is a freezing tornado in North Alabama, or a warning to say the least.
Yes.
Last night it seemed like we had a freeze warning as well as a tornado warning.
Correct.
Tornado watch.
Oh, tornado watch.
Yeah. It wasn't a warning.
Tornado watch. So a freezing tornado did come through somewhere. We didn't get to see it. It didn't touch the ground, but it was somewhere. Also, to the fact, it feels like there's a freezing tornado around the country, as there are rumors that are being spread. Some fan on social media, so there's no credibility to this, but this has been pushed by Shaquille O'Neal so much at LSU that we are seeing a possibility of a reunion between LSU and Nick Saban. Apparently, there's a private jet scheduled today to leave from Lubbock, Texas, where game day is at today, down to Baton Rouge, and then to Tuscaloosa. Could we be seeing the possibility of Nick Saban even entertaining a contract offer from LSU?
No, I'm sorry. Wait, we're supposed to be talking about this and acting like we're actually going to have a conversation about this. Sorry, I shouldn't have just jumped to no. If anybody on the planet has the money and the pool to say so, then Shaq is probably that guy. I mean, he can just go do a couple more commercials and help pay for, if LSU, the actual college, is prepared to pay $10-15 million a year for whatever coach they're actually looking for, could Shaq say, "Hey, I'll throw in the other 10"?
100% he would.
I just Googled.
I think Shaq would pay his contract.
I just Googled. Do you know what Shaq's net worth is according to Google?
It's $500 million.
It is $500
million. Yeah,
that's exactly, that's according to Google. That's what they have it at. So there's no telling what he's actually, and I'm sure it's not like LSU doesn't have other big name. Could they call up Miss Livia and ask her to throw in could we do a GoFundMe of LSU supporters and former alumni to throw in a few dollars to bring LSU back to greatness?
Could we see the possibility of this actually happening?
No, I mean,
I think we're seeing the entertainment of it right now.
I think it's pure entertainment. Nick Saban is legacy at Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you got the field named after the guy. So when Nick goes to LSU and he comes back and he's playing on Nick Saban Field, I do not think that Nick wants his name tarnished. He's got statues outside the stadium. I think he's done, guys. And all this talk about Nick Saban going back to LSU, I think it's just a bunch of talk. Now, if there's a flight today and if you open the segment, is he entertaining that piece of it? But, just in endorsement deals alone, quick search, Richie, Nick Saban makes almost $10 million a year just off endorsement deals.
Well, he has the
how much more money does Miss Terry and Nick need?
I mean, at this point, none.
Yeah.
I will.
They're taken care of no matter what they do. Even if they were to make one bad investment and it all went under, I think they're taking care of it even so.
Oh, yeah. So 2 points. One, is there a private jet leaving Lubbock, Texas in about 2.5 hours to land in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama LSU game? Absolutely. It's Nick's, because he's going to be in Bryant-Denny Stadium, Nick Saban Field, to watch Alabama play football. On top of that, at what point we still have people who believe Elvis is alive? At what point in
People that
time?
believe Tupac is alive.
I mean, the two of
Hey.
them should have put a song out together.
Have
by
you
this
not
point.
seen the Tupac videos
Yeah,
with
there's
Mr. Rogers? Those are
Yes,
amazing.
AI is incredible. At what point in time, if LSU hires insert coach here, that's not named Nick Saban. At what point in time do we stop hearing, oh, Nick Saban's going to take the,
Job back at Michigan State.
he's taking the Atlanta Braves head coaching position? Like, at what point in time do we stop with the craziness? Let the man, let the man enjoy his Deion Sanders commercials. And by the way, Deion Sanders coming to Auburn. You heard it here first.
Richie John Paul has hit us up on YouTube. You can also hit us up on the socials. Hit us up, leave a comment on YouTube. We'll get to it here on the show. And then after the show, when we're on the radio side only, you can hit us up on the Facebook side at Off the Bench. But here on YouTube at Off the Bench CFB Show, John Paul has hit us up. He says, Richie, how many teams do you think will end the regular season undefeated, and who will they be?
The regular season undefeated? One. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M.
You think A&M's going undefeated?
That means they beat whoever they're playing in the SEC championship.
No, he
No,
said
this
regular
is
season.
Oh, regular season. Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Attention to the details. Yeah.
I think that's just those three. I think, not to give away some picks later today, I think at the end of the day, that might be the only three undefeateds we have left.
Which we only had, what, 2 last year?
Yes.
Oregon was
Oregon.
one, and I can't remember the other one off the top of
Because
my
I
head.
remember at the beginning of last year, I made a friendly wager with a friend of mine for a cold Coca-Cola that there was more likely to have a 3-loss team than an undefeated team make the playoff, and it was a push because we had one undefeated team and one 3-loss team in the playoff last year.
No, yeah, I mean, this year I'm kind of with you. I agree with you on Ohio State and Indiana, but I just don't know if we'll see it from Texas A&M. I like Elko. I think Elko's doing great things over there, but you still got the rest of their slate left. I don't know if they can do it.
I mean, you got at Missouri today, which I think is really and truly with their quarterback being down. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah,
you got South Carolina at home, Samford at home, and then home for Texas. The only way I see is has Texas circled that game, and the fact that the University of Texas is circling a game just tells you where we're at with this season. That is a play-in game for Texas. I mean, we can talk about this as well today. Texas and Oklahoma both have every opportunity in front of them to make this a 5, if not a 6-man. We've talked about the traffic jam all season, this traffic jam on 65 headed towards the playoff. And we've gotten to somehow, we are still here in week, whatever this is, 9, 10, and we could still have 6 SEC teams in this.
Guys, we're about to take a break on the radio side here, 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. Make sure to go follow and like the show on YouTube. Give us a subscribe there. Hit the subscribe button. Turn the notifications bell on. This is Off the Bench. We're going to take a quick break. We're right back. 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. We are getting ready, pushing all the way through until 11 o'clock till we get to kickoff time. And we have some amazing games heading into this Saturday. Of course, play-in games, play-out games being played today, as well as we're going to start getting into some of the games in the action today and what to look out for during these games today. Alabama, LSU, of course, the night game. Bryant-Denny under the bright lights in Tuscaloosa against a team that unfortunately is not a protected rivalry like it should be. It should be a protected rivalry, and is not, unfortunately, but we still play them a lot. Nevertheless,
That's still crazy.
over the next
So
couple of years.
Will we play LSU next year regular season?
Yes.
I think
we play them like
then we miss 2, and then we play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with that. I think part of the reason why it became such a go back to the first segment, why it became such a huge rivalry was the Nick Saban tie. It was the game of the century part 1, and then like 17 days later, game of the century part 2, and all of that. People keep telling me that this LSU job is the #1 job in the country. It's the best job out there. It's the LSU can write the check and get whoever they want. And I don't necessarily know that I 100% believe that. Like prior to, Nick and you had Les Miles, Coach O won a championship with somebody else's players. Is LSU really that great of a job? Is it really that big of a, like, if you go back, I remember when I was a student at Alabama, we played LSU to, I don't remember how many overtimes it was. And if I could have got my hands on the announcer who kept saying more free football, it would have been ugly. And it was rainy. It was wet. I don't remember this game being that big of a rivalry. If you go back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
Well, no, because LSU didn't really have a heyday until Nick Saban arrived. I mean, the facilities were backed up. The most everything was directed off campus in Baton Rouge. Okay. And Nick Saban got there and they built up facilities. They moved a lot of it too on campus. Right. And, and they dealt with a lot of, they could have had great coaches, but they inevitably kept getting fired. Right. And, so yeah, it took them till the turn of the century really to really get things under control and try to have their heyday to that moment. But yet ever since Nick Saban, they've still been in this coaching hiatus where every couple of years they still fire their coach. I mean, Les Miles, how long was Les there?
Not long. 6 years, maybe
6 years, right? Okay, he's probably had the longest tenure out of these last head coaches. I think Ed Orgeron was there for 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and
won a championship.
Can
we remember that?
And
Coach
then had
O,
a bad year, and LSU pulled the plug.
Right.
So let me throw a stat at you guys. How many championships does LSU have as far as national championships?
4, 3.
Okay, can you name the years?
Well, 19 is one. I couldn't tell you that before that.
1958.
Are these claimed national championships?
These are claimed national championships.
So
it's funny how you said that,
It's
Kels.
claimed, okay, because a poll directed it.
Probably in 1958, a poll directed
A poll directed it, or somebody claimed it, a radio host, whatever you have.
Kind of like Auburn's claimed national championships.
Yes.
Can you believe they fired Hugh Freeze after they went from 2 national championships to 9 under his reign?
Well, they didn't claim any under his belt. There was none claimed under his belt.
But when he started as the head coach, they only had 2. And then today they have 9, and they fired the guy who 7 national championships.
Where's Gene Chizik at in these coaching rumors? LSU or Auburn?
The reason why I bring up the national championships, so let's talk about why people say LSU is a great job. The other 3 are 2003, 2007, and 2019, which is Orgeron's championship, right? Yeah. So you've got a program that has won 3 national championships in the last 22 years. So 1 out of every 7 years they're winning a national championship,
which is better than almost every other program not named Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State can say. But does that make it a great job today with all of the crud that has came out with the new president, the AD. Is the AD the interim AD? Is he the acting AD? Is he even allowed to hire anybody?
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, the instability is a little bit of a turnoff for these coaches, right? I mean, it's like going up to the gas pump. You put in your card and it says, please see cashier. You're going to keep retrying that,
Yeah.
right?
And you're going to move to the next gas
You're
station.
going to move to the next pump, right? Or the next gas station,
Yeah.
whatever you have it, right? You're going to do whatever you can to not go into the gas station. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a turnoff for these head coaches to see the instability of, okay, who am I actually talking to when I'm actually, being flown in to talk about the contract of what I could be making and how's the NIL going to be directed toward my players and, things of that nature. So, with the coach not knowing specifics on this, like the emails have came out with Brian Kelly, there was so much of stuff that just didn't get talked about.
Right.
And it was like, Kelly's like, do you want me to leave my stuff in my office? Should I take this stuff in my office? How am I getting this buyout? What's going on? Right.
And he was even they made it like he was,
They
so hateful, mad,
they
man.
already painted him like the devil.
Yeah.
Okay. And Notre Dame fans piled on to that. They painted him like the devil too. Right. And Brian Kelly's sitting over here like, yeah, okay. He obviously didn't, come out and say anything about him being painted that way, but he did. Like those emails were released, and it's like, okay, we kind of see how LSU is treating Brian Kelly throughout this process as well. So, looking at that, I can understand the turnoff, but I mean, it's still one of the best jobs in the country.
So let's back it up and bring it local back to the SEC. How many SEC championships have they won in the 2000s?
4.
That's Richie says 4. Kels, where are you going with this?
Just Nick has 2. Ogeron has 1.
Yeah.
Les Miles has 1.
Yeah, the SEC.
So 3.
Okay, the answer is Mr. Statman over here got it. It's 3.
Oh, that was a
2003, 2011, and 2019. Obviously, Alabama has an impact to that. But my point with this is if LSU is such a great team and it's the best coaching hire, you would think that they could win their own conference more often than what they do. And before 2003, the last time they had won a first outright SEC title was 86, and before that it was 1970. So you've got 5 national championships since 1970 that LSU's listed as the outright. So is it really the best hire when it's really not even the best hire in the SEC?
Okay, I'll even go one step further than that. If we're talking about LSU's this great job because they've won 3 national championships in the last 22 years, they've won X number of SEC championship games, blah, 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 blah. If Kellen DeBoer decides tomorrow, hey, I'm out, is Alabama a better job than LSU? Is the national media going to say Alabama's a better job than LSU? Alabama's won how many national championships in the last 20 years? More than LSU. How many SEC championships in the last 20 years? More than LSU. So it's not about, I think when it's all said and done, if you look historically, great. I think the Florida job is a better job. I think Penn State may actually be a better job because what Penn State's gone through and how they treated Franklin and left him there for so long and let him try to build it, where LSU does have this history of, hey, if you don't bring me home a trophy in 3 years, we're going to run you out on a rail.
So what's the difference between let's list 3 schools? What's the difference between LSU, Penn State, and Bama when it comes to legacy of the program?
History.
No, what's the key difference? Think about one thing. What did Penn State have?
Joe Pa.
Okay. What did Bama have?
Bear Bryant.
Okay.
Great coaches in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Okay. What does LSU? What did LSU have?
But that's part of my point with LSU is you have the recent history. You don't have the far back history.
You don't have the legacy.
You don't have the legacy, which makes this job that much more attractive to go and forge that legacy, to go and forge the history there within LSU. Okay. Alabama has that. Penn State has that. Okay. Notre Dame has that. Okay. Ohio State. Yeah. I mean, so there's your forge of history right there. Okay. Another thing to think about too is that only 3 FBS programs have more national titles than LSU during the BCS and CFB era since 1998.
Bama, Georgia.
Bama, Ohio State, and LSU.
You said more than LSU.
Oh, yes. Excuse me. Yes. Bama, Ohio State, and then LSU has so Alabama has 6, Ohio State and LSU have 3.
Okay. Where's
I
Georgia
mean-
fit? Okay, Georgia's got 2.
Georgia has 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I'll give you that.
they were good before
Yeah.
Georgia.
Georgia-
Kirby, but they weren't great before Kirby.
I'll give you this. Okay, if you're this hungry coach, this great coach, let's just throw out a name that might make sense. I don't know, Lane Kiffin. That's this hungry coach to be great. What is more fires you up? Being the only head coach to win a national championship at Ole Miss, or coming in and being the next Bear Bryant, Nick Saban? You come into Tuscaloosa. If Kellen DeBoer is half as good as what everybody thought he was at the beginning of coming into
Last
this
year.
job,
Coming into this job last
there,
year.
there's still I still have friends and family that owe him an apology, and I will stand on that for as long as I have to until they apologize. But to be that next great coach, the history and everything of it, LSU not having that history, it's a great job today, but it's not a great job historically.
And when you think about the coaches that LSU has had in the last 10 years, though, I mean, great coaches. Les Miles,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Ogeron, okay.
Is Les Miles a Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah.
Does he have a?
If not
is he an
for
actual
the
Hall of Famer?
if not for the off the field
Yeah,
stuff, he
Off the
kind of
field
tainted
stuff
tainted
tainted
himself.
that.
Yeah.
But he has to have a certain win percentage, which I don't think Les Miles has.
and then Kelly. I mean,
They changed the winning percentage by one game so they could put Mike Leach in, by the way.
Yeah, put the Pirate in. That's good.
And I think it actually Les Miles slips in there as well on that.
I'm just saying. I mean, LSU's had some great coaches. Let's just don't knock that piece of it. But they don't have the legacy. I mean, it's not there that Bama, Penn State.
That's why you want to forge that legacy at LSU. If he were to stick with Ole Miss, who do people think of when they think Ole Miss? Eli Manning. Okay,
I sit there and
Eli
think
Manning.
about that one because I don't think
Manning,
of it.
right?
Yeah.
So, when you're thinking of that way, why not go take the LSU job? Because I don't think it would be as hard to actually, when people think of LSU, to think of Lane Kiffin if you were to have a good amount of success there and stick around for 10 years.
But they're still going to talk about Nick.
Well, yes, you would still talk about Nick, but what if Lane would have went over there in 2 national championships?
Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask. I mean,
they're still going to talk.
Not everybody has won national championship.
They're still going to talk about how Nick created it.
Yeah, there's so many what
ifs. If Lane stays at Ole Miss and wins a national championship at Ole Miss, they will forever, in 30 years from now.
Okay, what if it goes to Florida?
It's still
Tebow.
It's still Spurrier. It's still Tebow. It's still
Tebow. Yeah.
You still had all the historical greats of the 80s and 90s of Florida teams. You had the back-to-back. You had the basketball team winning national championships as well. I'm telling you, at Ole Miss, he wins a national championship at Ole Miss, which obviously I don't hope happens because I want Alabama to win as many of them as they can. 30 years from now, they're going to talk about the creation, the history that Lane Kiffin created with that. I'll go. Let me ask you this: if Brian Kelly had a time machine, knowing what he knows today, does he ever leave Notre Dame?
Never. I mean, you're talking about legacy.
Oh man,
program.
I think eventually. No, I don't think he would. I think he would have.
He left Notre Dame to go to LSU.
Yeah, and people loved the idea at the time.
Picked up a fake accent somewhere over, somewhere over Tennessee. As the private jet's flying over Tennessee, he picks up a fake Southern accent.
Where would Marcus Freeman be then?
Oh man, Florida.
I think he'd be at LSU.
Bama.
I think they want Freeman at LSU, anyways. Which is, that's been talked about.
It's the coaching carousel.
Wanted
man.
At LSU, the possibility of that is so intriguing. But LSU's already been around of Notre Dame.
Hey, can we come back to Lane Kiffin for a second? I can't believe
we will once we take a break.
All right, let's take a break, Kels.
7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM. Jocks Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. Get involved with the show, guys. Go hit us up on YouTube and on Facebook at Off the Bench. And we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back. 7:30 a.m. 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is Off the Bench. Of course, I'm your host, Kelsey Alfine over here. Sitting to my left is Richie Jones. Hold on, guys. We're having a little issue with do not know what that is. We're having a little issue with feedback over here. It was really delayed.
Very delayed.
There it is
Still,
again.
still having
Okay.
it.
Not 100% sure what that is. It doesn't sound like our normal issues, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on. It's feeding back very delayed, so that's a little different on our side, though. But Pops, I know on your side, you wanted to talk about what's going on in the ball here.
Well, so I mean, we spend a lot of time every week broadcasting the mid show here, and we do the Saturday morning show when we're not out in the community doing a live feed. But I've had a couple of people ask me about the bar and how this works. Okay, and what it is really. We started this coming out of COVID. Okay, there's a bunch of guys that I hang out with. We call ourselves the Bourbon Brothers. Okay, and if you've been around the show long enough, you know Richie's part of it. I'm part of it. You'll hear us talk about Big Ray, and some of the others. But this is just our place. We come and hang out. It's in our house. It is the garage. I took the garage while we were in COVID, and I come out here one day and we had an old 76 280Z sitting out here leaking oil, and I had boxes where we moved into the house, and we just started it, and we started taking everything out and collecting bottles over the couple of years. And so this is what you get. But if you ever want to come out, visit, say hi, we do some bourbon shares out here and that sort of thing. But I think our favorite thing that we're doing out here right now is the radio show. So, so Kels, thanks to your show. And, we get the opportunity to spotlight what we're doing here. We call it the Angel Share. And I'll leave it at that.
That's where the kicking from Dana came from. Brooks is one of the brothers with the bourbon. And to me, I just want to say that it's been great to have a community, especially during COVID started all that, having some folks that you can reach out to, that you can call a brother, call a sister, call a friend when something's going on, something needs to be done. These guys are great about jumping in and helping each other out. So join a community, join whether it's a bourbon share, a church, your community neighborhood knitting club. Get out there and talk to people and become friends and have somebody's back.
It's just been such a wonderful time doing the show out here and everything. I know we've changed stuff up after really the last couple of years. I started this a year, almost. It's been a year and a half now with, of course, JP, who used to be with us. He was the co-host here, and he's moved on, business owner now, and he's done great things over down at Right Side Radio. Yeah, we've had so much fun doing this, and we're going to continue doing this. Of course, new crew here this year, and we're just going to continue and have fun with it, of course. Guys, this is it for the YouTube side. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on that bell notification. We'll be back with you probably for the midweek update this coming week, either Wednesday or Thursday. But we will be still here on the radio side. So 7:30 a.m., 103.9 FM, Jocks Huntsville. This is Off the Bench.